I'm Prasanna. I've been building startups for over 15 years. My first big one was a consumer social app called Like a Little back in the day. It was around 2012. We had more users than Facebook in US college campuses. It was an extremely viral app. And we had acquisition offers of like hundreds of millions from Facebook and Google. It ultimately failed. It was a fad. It went to zero. But learned a lot about consumer and consumer social with that experience. Been founding many companies. The most recent one, which was very successful, was a company called Rippling. Rippling is worth $10-15 billion today. Been a crypto bull for a long time. Bought my first Bitcoin in 2013. Extremely fascinated by this space, and excited to build a consumer social app in crypto. So we're building 0x People. 0x People is a way by which you can follow your friends on chain. So we are a giant index. We index all the blockchains out there and make it like extremely easy for you to consume it. So download 0x People, search your friend's name, and we'll try to find them. If they're doing something on crypto, it's likely they've left. We can find them on chain. You can see like what they're doing, and we sort of render it in plain text, no stack traces and hashes. We tell you, hey, this guy is buying this coin, or this guy is sort of investing in this thing. So you can really understand what your friends are doing across many chains. We index almost every chain out there: Solana, EVM, Cosmos. So one place to track your portfolio and see what's happening in crypto.
As you were saying that, I was looking for our friend that we frightened just before getting on the thing. We will get to that story in a bit, but Sota, would love to learn about your journey as well as what you're doing with Sonium right now.
Yeah. Hello, everyone. My name is Sota Watanabe, originally from Japan. And we are making Sonium. Sonium is the chain co-developed with Sony Group. We launched a brand 3 months ago, and we launched a testnet 3 months ago. And we're gonna launch the mainnet once we are ready. So what we want to do is to make entertainment layer of the Web3. Given Sony Group has a lot of the subsidiaries such as music, movie, games, and beyond. What we are missing today is the great customer experience and the distribution channel. And a lot of the crypto people, including us, start from tech and then try to find the customers. But for us, we have a bunch of the customers. And after that, we are considering how to apply tech to the customers' daily lives and how to make their lives better and colorful. So, as I said, we are focusing on entertainment. And right now, Web3 is already recognized as the technology for finance. And as a result, we have more than 220 million monthly active wallets in the world. But we should go beyond finance, right? So how to onboard a billion of the people on chain? And my answer is going to be entertainment, because people, when it comes to internet, the SNS, such as Facebook or Twitter, was the pivotal product, right, to onboard a billion of the people on chain. Sorry, billion of the people to the internet, because people fundamentally would like to be connected and share the enthusiasm to be to enjoy.
Stay in touch with
stay in touch.
Yeah.
The blockchain should be the same. So we are focusing on entertainment to unleash creativity and connect the people and share enthusiasm on chain. Yeah, this is the value proposition.
That's awesome. I've been a lifelong Xbox user, but ever since Sonium started to do its thing, I've been considering getting a PS5 as well. So it's really nice to see a brand that's touched us at almost every stages of our lives, getting into this space. I do have a lot of follow-up questions with what you guys are doing, but just a little about what I do. I run Rabble. Rabble is the Telegram client you want to use if you are a Web3 user. It is multi-chain, and all the apps in it are not just restricted to one chain. It's every chain's apps live in there, and they are all AI enabled. With that, we are in this space where things like pump.fun and things like friend tech are capturing people's imagination about how quickly and how large something can grow just because of frictionless money markets that are global from day one can do for a consumer app. And so in the case of Pump.Fun, it's like probably the fastest company to reach $100 million in revenue ever in the history of companies, which is quite a feat to think about. And so next time people say crypto companies don't make revenue, that's probably show them that. But the other part of it is that there is a general feeling that all crypto apps are going to be short-lived, right? That it is only going to be there, kind of a thing for like, say, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, and then everybody forgets about it. Friend tech, for example. There was a time where none of us could stop talking about it, and then now nobody wants to hear about it anymore. And so my question to the panelists here is that the only way for the crypto consumer app, that it can only be popular for a few months and then it will die, almost ephemeral in that case? Or is there room for consumer apps in crypto that are more like the ones that we use? Facebook lasts for decades, WhatsApp for decades, Telegram for over a decade, right? So where is the balance here? And Prasanna, I would love to hear your thoughts. We spoke about this a little earlier, but I guess the audience would like to know as well.
I think there is always a mixture, right? So for example, from last cycle, like, we've seen a few cycles, right? From last cycle, there were apps which were fads, but we also have the Av Finance, which has survived through, we have the Compound, which has survived through. OpenSea was sort of, turned out to be like not, surviving for long enough, but, it did pretty well for a while. So I think one thing is our business as entrepreneurs is to sort of be in the bleeding edge where the half-life of companies are like extremely short. So, there is this data which shows the half-life of an S&P 500 company, used to be 75 years. Now it is 18 years, right? So the world is innovating faster and faster, and companies are like having to, reinvent themselves to survive. Now, at the edge of it, at the bleeding edge of it is like crypto. The half-life of a company in crypto is like 18 months or something, right? And that's the most interesting part for entrepreneurs to play, because that is the part of the world which is fluid. You can put your hands and like the walls are moving. We can fuck around, and the concrete will sort of dry in some time. The half-life will be, will sort of start expanding in some time. So for example, to go after the Aave Finance is getting harder and harder. The concrete is not fully dry. People will go after Aave Finance. But the longer it has dried, the half-life sort of start expanding. So that is the opportunity. This is the part of the world which is still flexible. This is where like, Alexander the Great will be playing, so that he can sort of, form an empire that like benefits from the underlying expansion of the markets itself. And once it's sort of like, the concrete dries, you could have a lot of territory like a Google or a Facebook.
I think that's so well said. When we think consumer apps, we are thinking apps like 0x people. We're not thinking about, the Aaves and the Compounds, which are also, in a sense, consumer apps. And they have survived multiple cycles and they continue to grow. But Sota, I would love to hear your thoughts. You are incubating projects right now to build on Sonium. When, say, a new consumer app comes up, what are the kind of apps that you are seeing, especially in the entertainment and gaming sector?
Yeah. I forgot to say, but Sonium is the Ethereum layer 2 powered by OP Stack and going to join a super chain, like Base. And I think the problem of the crypto people is easy to come, but easy to leave, right? People are always looking for higher APY. That's good. I like meme coin, by the way. Meme coin is the important part of the Web3 culture. But for us, we are more interested in making a long-term value, long-term benefit to empower people, empower creators. And right now, I think Web3 is empowering limited people, especially rich people and the tech people. So I joined this space to empower the people, especially people who does not have a power, who don't have a power. So this is what we would like to do, and how to do. Network effect is the most important thing when it comes to platform. And right now, there are a bunch of the layer 1, layer 2 circle, starting from Ethereum, Solana, Avalanche, the Monado, and blah, blah, blah. And then I'm sure that there will be a 10th cycle or 11th cycle and more. So how to terminate this kind of the war? Our answer is to onboard Web 2 people on-chain and make a strong network effect. The great things of the Web 2 people is they don't pivot much. if they care about higher APY, they don't deposit the money into the bank, right? So we would like to attract these kind of people on chain. And to do so, we needed to provide a seamless experience. So we are pretty much focusing on a native account abstraction and a compensate fee. And we're gonna subsidize the gas fee. Then people can use chain for free. And if they use account abstraction, they can log into the blockchain with fingerprint or face and so on. So eventually, in the long run, the people are not going to realize they are using blockchain when they use Web3 products. And this is what we would like to provide, just like Internet of today.
That's interesting. I guess one of the things that you said is getting more Web2 people into this space. Yesterday, when I was pitching my product to people, it's like, why are you doing all these esoteric DeFi things? Just go to uncle in Rajasthan and tell him 6% on dollar here, put money. And they would do that. Because that's kind of a very easy way to onboard a lot more people. Like, I think knowing that Sonium's kind of building the stack to do that makes a lot of sense. Prasanna, coming back to like this other question, right? Like, is consumer crypto inherently financial, right? That I think is a question that all of us are saying. And I would like to have your idea about this with respect to games as well. Like, are games, eventually crypto games are just about money is the other thing. And in fact, some experienced VCs have told me this, that, the whole trading thing that we do in crypto is the meta game that all of us are playing. And in that sense, we are all just offshoots of it. And so even in the case of 0x people, I follow social accounts attributed to wallets, understand what they are doing, and then my call to action is either to monitor or act on it. And literally almost every other crypto app to some level is about do this, get alpha, make money. Is that the nature of the crypto app, or is there more to this?
So first of all, crypto is money.
Yes.
Right? Crypto is the financial highway of the internet and hence humanity. And money is actually information, right? So, we use money to establish consensus between each other. So like Facebook is growing, Orkut is growing, you had to decide whether you want to be on Facebook or Orkut. You decide based, if everyone believes Facebook is the future, then Facebook is the future. So we live in a meta world where we sort of communicate information and we all sort of agree and build consensus. It's not just the blockchains are building consensus based on what every other computer thinks, but it's more that humans are building consensus based on what every other humans think, right? So we are in this consensus building game, and crypto is basically like giving an economic benefit to agreeing and like fastening the consensus, right? So, if you bet correctly that Facebook is the new Facebook, then you get rich. So crypto is about money. And money is very addictive. And we are basically all agreeing how the world is going to work in the future together. And consumer is like, as consumers socially, we are agreeing how the world is going to work in the future. So yeah, money is front and center to it.
Right. So I guess that's a really interesting thing. Like that, it's one of the things that a lot of the older blockchain founders did was that blockchain is the answer for everything, as opposed to blockchain is the answer for money. And if we program it in that sense, we probably are going to build richer consumer experiences. But Sota, to your point, given all the IP that Sony has, how does that, let's say, I don't know, Spider-Man, for example, is a PlayStation exclusive, right? How does that live on chain, and what are your visions for that kind of IP in an on-chain world?
Yeah, we are pretty much interested in IP registration platform on-chain. So not only Sony, but also retail creator can register the IP on-chain, and other people can use IP to generate the revenue. And the revenue can be split to distributor, publisher, and the original creator on chain. Obviously, we need zero knowledge proof here to hide the information because people do not want to show the amount people receive, right? And another thing is, let's say this might be not interesting much for the crypto people, but we can definitely improve the payment cycle. So let's say if Indian people work with the Japanese company, it takes a day or two to send Indian rupee to Japanese yen to Indian rupee, for example. And if you deliver the, the, let's say, creative products to my company, it takes a month to check, and next month I'm going to pay, right? It takes 2 months. Through crypto and on-chain payment, this can be in hours, or even it can be automatic. We would like to improve this kind of experience, and we would like to empower creators to shine. If they receive fund earlier, if they prove that this is generated by myself, their power gonna be stronger than the company, not stronger than the business owners. So we would like to empower these kind of people. This sounds, not fun for the Web3 people, but this kind of the use case pretty much important for crypto to prove our value.
I think it's a lot of fun for Web 2 people, the kind of people that you're bringing in. I was a Web 2 guy once, and I got into the space because I got paid instantly from the other side of the world. And I thought, okay, that is magic, and I've waited months to get payments cleared, and this is really cool. But you also touched on a very important point, Sota, that people don't like to show their on-chain behavior off to people because you want to keep the amount specific, which is exactly what Prasanna stands against right now in his thing. Just before we got in, guys, this is this is amazing. Okay, so there was a guy who I was talking to. We will not dox him for obvious reasons. Who came in and said, "Hey, I'm bringing this new guy into crypto," and Prasanna said, "Hey, you should check out 0x people." And then he searched for this person's name on 0x people, and all of his wallets came up. And so immediately you could see how much money he had spent, how much money he has on chain, which token he had dropped, and you could see this guy just like, oh my God, this is a terrible thing that's happening to me. Now my friend here knows exactly how much money I have on chain. And then he started to cover it up saying that, hey, no, I have different wallets. It will be stopped. You cannot see all of these things. And then he says, no, 1 second. And then he opens up a block explorer, which is like human readable, and says, this wallet sent money here. You also have a Coinbase account. And then these are the other wallets that your money went into. And you could see this guy just saying, oh, what is happening to me? And, I was like, okay, cool demo, but Prasanna, this can't be nice for people that are experiencing your app. But then you told me something that really blew my mind post that, it's like you should feel this pain to realize why the other thing, which is privacy, is necessary. So why don't you touch a little bit upon that? And I think that that's a really cool way in which you are sensitizing people about why privacy is important.
Yeah, so first of all, so 2 things. One is I'm a big privacy bull. Bought my first BTC in 2013, but soon after, was holding a lot of like Monero and Zcash. I thought it is inevitable, but it turns out like that hasn't happened yet. Except my friends who are like buying some drugs or something, these things are not popular, right? And it hasn't played out. The one big privacy experiment that did play out was Tornado Cash. And, I know the founders really well. They taught me a lot about the ZK proofs and stuff. And, more recently, like a year or so ago, they went to jail. They got arrested and they went to jail, right? So obviously, privacy is like huge and important, and we have the technology to like provide that on chain today. It has an adoption problem, because Tornado Cash guys went to jail because 80% of, or it's something like 50% of their transactions was by Lazarus of North Korea, right? The legit users of Tornado Cash, like the big guy is like Vitalik. He put $1 billion or something into Tornado Cash. But otherwise, most people were criminals, and we had this sort of problem where legit users don't want privacy. They already consider blockchains as anonymous. So that's one thing. I think we have the technology to get there. We have an adoption problem, and we have an adoption problem because people don't realize, blockchains are not private. It is porous. You can look through it, and you can sort of tell. And governments are already telling. The biggest. So Chainalysis is like a big company. It charges $3 million to the Indian government to to identify people on chain. And then there are so that's the starting point. And then in the middle of the market, there are companies like Nansen, which hedge funds pay a lot of money to buy to get this information to analyze what's happening on chain. We're just like consumerizing the whole thing so that we give the hands of, we give the power of doing that to people, like to normal people, so you can go follow your friends and see what they're doing. So we're sort of like leveling the playing field. So, don't be shocked, that your wallets are on chain. They're already on chain. You don't need to give it to us for us to find you. We've already found you, right? So that is like a leveler for everyone to understand like what's going on. So I think privacy will come. It will come after people adopt technologies like this, after everyone sort of like adopts technologies like this, and we will sort of like enable intrinsic privacy, at some point when there is enough scale, right? I think it's important and it's coming. But I also believe the other side of it. I do think people are going to put wallets on chain. People are going to put their face next to a wallet, and they will have public wallets. So this is sort of an important thing that I believe that few other people believe is, there is extraordinary utility to having a public wallet. Now, in the last cycle, we already saw that with the rise of NFTs. You don't want to buy like a Patek Philippe watch and hide it in your pocket, right? There are things that you want to show off. So I think people will have a public wallet where they're trying to build their reputation. They want to be known as a certain person, and it'll give it. They'll list in this sort of huge directory of the internet. And say, hey, this is why I matter. This is why you should follow my thoughts and my activities. And that is also going to grow. I think the adoption of public wallets is going to go exponential. We're already seeing that with the rise of Farcaster. We saw a demo of that with Friendtech. And there are going to be like more and more reasons why you will connect your public social profile with your wallet. And it is going to unlock new experiences, including what 0x People is trying to unlock.
I think that's a really interesting take as well. And it's a move towards truth. More than, and that's the thing about on-chain data that I really like. It's immutable truth. And if you say that you have X money, you go on 0x People and see if they actually have X money, right? And so, but Sota, you had a counterpoint to that, I'm assuming.
I think when it comes to adoption, the privacy is the one thing, and another thing is the customer experience and the business model. Right now, let's say Wi-Fi. Everybody is using Wi-Fi, right? You are using internet today here in the hotel. And the people are using, feels like using internet Wi-Fi for free. But the hotel is paying the Wi-Fi fee, I think. It's same to your house. I'm, using Wi-Fi in my house. But it's a subscription, monthly subscription. And I have to pay the fee based on the amount which I used, right? But feels like we are using internet for free. Right? The blockchain is going to be the same through account abstraction, I think. Eventually, people can use blockchain for free. Feels like free. And then the company like us can subsidize the gas fee. This is already possible through account abstraction. And then we can charge the gas fee through credit card. Or we can charge the gas fee from the bank account from the customer. Then they don't need to touch the crypto, but they're using crypto and getting the benefit of the crypto in a daily life.
Got it. I really like that focus too, in the sense that it's got to make sense for regular people and not just all of us on crypto Twitter and identifiable on 0x People. But, I think we're at the last 5 minutes, and I have a builder-centric focus question for both of you. I think there's this, and, this is obviously not asking for myself, but, when infrastructure projects raise money, it's raised almost on a promise that such a tech will happen. When consumer products are raising money, it's almost that, hey, show me what you have and how many users do you got, right? And how much money are you making? And so it's how should a builder today, and I'm assuming that quite a few of you here that are building consumer products, think about raising money for their consumer products in crypto. It would be cool to hear from your own experiences, and general pieces of advice will do a lot of good for the audience here.
Yeah, so my background is, I sort of tried to start my company in 2009, tried to raise money. No one gave me money for the first 18 months and did pretty well, And I think the leverage on us has sort of gone up so much that like literally you don't need any money, right? Like to launch insane products. Pump.fund had no money, right? So now the leverage is super high that like raising money is sort of an optional step along the way. And especially in consumer crypto, you kind of like don't need to. But of course, I'm doing 0x People, which burns like millions of dollars a year because I can fund it. I'm sort of in a unique position where my net worth allows me to fund such a thing. And in fact, the best things to do are actually counter-cyclical, right? If infra is raising money, the worst thing to do is to go and do infra. You don't want to do things that are fundable. You want to do things that are sort of off the grain and not really that fundable. So you don't have a lot of competition. You can have original thought. You're chasing the next big thing, not the current big thing.
Right. No, that makes sense. I never thought of it that way. You want to do things that are not fundable in the context of that market makes a tremendous amount of sense, because that's what startups are about. It is in search of something unique that is going to be scalable, not what everything that is getting the attention for right now is. Sota, for you,
Yeah.
you've done this journey quite a bit.
Right,
How do you see the difference?
Yeah, I started my company back in 2019, and I have raised more than 40 million in the past five years, I think, from Web3 venture capital such as Polychain, Coinbase Ventures, Binance Lab, and so on, as well as Web2 big companies such as Sony Group, Samsung, UOB, which is the one of the largest bank in Southeast Asia, and these legit people care about the passion of the founders and why founders are here today. In crypto, it's good things and bad things. People can get the money easier and faster than Web2, for example. So long-term commitment is pretty much necessary to make a difference in the world. And investor pretty much like the founders who is, pursuing the way to make a difference in the world. So my advice to the founders is money follows people, so people should follow their dreams. And dream big, but make it smaller and execute and get things done.
What? You're saying you have to do work to get money, Sota? How dare you? but no, yes, I completely agree with that. We're in the last 2 minutes of our conversation, and the gentleman will be available through the day to catch up. So we'll keep the question answers post this, but I'd like to end this session on one thing that you guys are really excited about with the companies that you're working at. And with that, we can close the panel. So Prasanna, would you go first?
I think I'm excited about consumer crypto in the cycle. I think, block space was commoditized last cycle, and we now have it. We can do a lot of things. The other thing that's already playing out is people are directly onboarding on chain. That is mind-blowing. I'm a big Coinbase bull. I have some insane amount of Coinbase bags. But, and the top signal in the past few cycles used to be, is Coinbase number one on the App Store? Right. Now, Phantom has overtaken Coinbase. So users are directly onboarding on chain. Like there is no, in fact, in the last bear market, there was this VC thesis that people enter into an exchange, and exchanges have hundreds of millions of users. And the best projects to back are the ones that sort of tempt the people from the exchanges into on-chain. But it has flipped upside down. People are coming on-chain directly. So I'm excited about that.
I'm excited about that too. I think you can directly on-ramp on-chain as opposed to going through intermediaries. And I think that's the sign that consumer crypto is starting. And
Yeah. What I'm excited about is the real adoption in coming years. So far, pretty limited people has been using Web3 and blockchain and crypto today. But I strongly believe that crypto and Web3 is for people. And to do so, we needed to onboard a billion of the people. And to do so, we needed to have strong distribution channel. Yeah. And if Sony is successful, I'm sure that more and more Web2 company, or even the general company enter the Web3 because they think that this is the opportunity. But if we fail, they hesitated to join, right? So I feel strong responsibility right now and make it successful for the industry. Yeah. And I would like to work with all of you guys to make it successful, make Sony successful, to onboard a billion of the people on chain.
That's a good call to action. And sorry, Prasanna, go on.
I think, bigger picture, I think this is probably going to be the mother of all bull runs, that, we're ever going to see. And I think, in the next few years, like some governments are already starting to buy BTC. BTC is becoming a reserve currency, and a lot of governments are going to miss buying it, and then they're going to sort of say, okay, I can't put my capital in, but maybe I can sort of like be pro crypto, pro tech, and then there are these CBDC projects that have been sort of like pending for a while. I think this cycle we see them launch, and people have their IDs on chain with like a bank account, which is like an on-chain account, and then from there, like that is the mother of all on-ramping experience. The biggest liquidity in the world comes to buy crypto, and that is going to produce speculation to the levels that we've never seen before.
Exciting times. And with that, can we hear it for the panelists, guys?